Welcome back to Oliver's greenhouse. I've just turned the misting system off because it was everything was getting soaked. Things are still dripping. This drosser up here is dripping with mist from the misting system, which has been on because it's we've had a bit of cooler weather here in the UK. But today, especially at lunchtime, it got really hot again. So everything's been working sort of overtime in the greenhouse. All of that aside, this morning I woke up and I've been watching it for a little while. I know we haven't filmed in the greenhouse in a little bit, just because I've just been really busy, and also because there's not really been a lot going on. Things are sort of growing. I should probably do an update quite soon as well. We'll have a look at some of the plants. Some of you probably noticed I've been concentrating a lot on the carnivorous plants at the moment because they're just doing so well. Whilst a lot of the orchids are just growing and doing what orchids do really when they're not flowering, which is like a plant basically. So woke up this morning and my Bulbophyllum annamense is in flower at the moment. Only one flower spike, but I've never flowered it, so it's a completely new species for me and I'm very proud of it. So I thought you guys might want to have a look because it's really cool flower. It's awesome. Lots of the Bulbophyllum are growing really well. And yeah, things are going really well in the greenhouse. So I'll get it down, move you guys over, and we'll have a look at the flower. So as some of you will probably be aware, I grow a lot of my Bulbophyllums in saucers, hanging saucers from the ceiling. Keeps them out of the way, and it provides a good surface area of media, which allows lots of oxygen to exchange. It retains enough moisture, but also because you've got that surface area on top, it also allows any excess moisture to evaporate quite quickly. And because Bulbophyllum only have really short little roots, they seem to grow really well. If you aren't growing any Bulbophyllum in these clear saucers, I do recommend trying it because they all proliferate so quick. They seem to really enjoy it, and the amount of growth I get pretty much outstrips all my mounted orchids. And yeah, it's well worth a go. I think it presents the plants really well. So I'll just make some space. This brassica is coming into flower again. It's just a machine. Pop that one over there. We'll have to do an update on the £1 orchids as well because they're just growing like mad things. So this is Bulbophyllum annamense, and it lives up hanging on the ceiling. It produces this rosette of flowers that you probably can't see, so I best move you. Okay, so in centre screen, hopefully you'll be able to see the beautiful rosette of flowers that this species orchid produces on a long flower spike, which sort of emanates from the bottom of a pseudo bulb. And it's got this fantastic pinky colour with lots of little purple spots, and it's very sensitive to the wind. And what I don't know whether you guys will be able to see it. I'll zoom in a minute. It's got tiny little singular antennae which sort of extend out of the very top of the hood, which sits over the little moving lip inside the flowers, and it sort of waves around. It must attract pollinators. What I'll do is I'll zoom in and hopefully we'll get a good... Okay, so hopefully that's centre of shot now. So you can really see this detail, this pink mottled appearance of the sepals. I'm not sure whether, it's hard to tell with the light. You can almost see the antennae which sort of extends at the top of the flowers. So yeah, it looks really pretty. I'm really happy with this little flower. And it's nice to be rewarded for all the time and effort that goes into running an orchid greenhouse. If I blow on it, not sure whether you're going to pick it up, but it's got the typical Bulbophyllum lip in here which rocks backwards and forth, which obviously destabilises a pollinator and basically dunks them onto the anthers to ensure pollination of the flower. So it's really awesome, really happy with it. It doesn't smell either. What I can't tell if it smells. I can't detect any noticeable smell of rotting stuff. I'll give it a good sniff without... Oh, the antennae things went straight up my nostrils, so it's really tickled. It's also got other strange little appendages either side of the flower as well, so it's got that Bulbophyllum hairiness. If I wind you guys down, because you're up really high at the moment, I can get you parallel with the flower like this. We'll zoom in again. Just get that centre of the view. How about there? And just focus. There we go. So there's a really good shot of what the flower looks like face on And if I give it a little, just going to focus again, maybe there's a bit of a screen wobble. There we go. If I give the plants a little tap, you can see the little lips rocking around inside there. So as for culture of this species, it's lumped in with all my other Bulbophyllums. I know it's an intermediate to warm growing orchid, although I do not grow it. I grow it intermediate, let's put it that way. Temperatures can peak up to as high as 30 degrees. I haven't seen it, not this year, I haven't recorded it as high as 30 degrees in the greenhouse yet, but it's, or in excess of 30 degrees, but it certainly does get hot. I'm going to move you guys over here so I can get into view so you guys can see me whilst I'm talking to you. There we go. So you can grow them warm or intermediate. I grow it intermediate. It's nice and warm in here in the summer, but in winter I let temperatures drop right the way down to about 13.5, 14 degrees centigrade. I've noticed obviously the growth slows down as it goes into, oh my god, this is unseasonably cool, and sort of lopes along without doing anything in particular for the 6 months or so that we have the shortened day length and cooler temperatures. After that time though, with the onset of spring, things pick up really, really quickly. So the growing media I use in here, this is medium fir bark mixed in with a bit of sphagnum moss and some grow stone as well, which is the superheated exploded glass granule stuff. Put that in there, so it's quite a fine mix. Onto the top of it, I put a little bit of this sheep moss. It sort of grows everywhere because I use rainwater. Anything that's around for long enough is able to retain moisture for long enough, it will grow all this sheep moss on it. So I pick a few bits off, put them on top, and that soon grows across the top. So it gives you this really sort of like, it gives a really nice backdrop to the plant. Doesn't seem to have any negative impacts. A lot of my other orchids are growing in exactly the same situation. They do really, really well. And also means you don't get any of that green slimy stuff, because if you are growing Bulbophyllums and you are keeping them moist, you're either going to get green algae stuff or this moss. And so I'd rather encourage this moss to grow here, because it looks better, it makes the plants look more natural in their presentation, and I think to some degree it retains moisture as well in the mix. So I grow them in these trays, which are just the clear plant sources. You can buy them from outside, for inside, for putting plant pots on. But because they're see-through, obviously we're getting photosynthesis at the roots, or light to the roots. They're plastics that are easy to drill. I drill about 6 drainage holes in the bottom of them so they drain nicely. And they're nice and compact, so you've got a big surface area for the Bulbophyllum to ramble over, because you know they like to ramble along rhizomes. And then when they start to droop off the edge, we get 2 or 3, preferably 3 growths hanging off. We can snip them off, we can even pop them back on top of the surface of the media to, you know, as another plantlet to thicken up what you've got here, so you end up with a specimen-sized orchid very quickly. Or you can give them to friends or mount them if you wanted to. So that's how I grow them. It's a little bit about my care. As far as the amount of sunlight it gets, they do get quite a lot of light. A lot of my orchids get quite a lot of light. I've got 80% aluminium shade cloth, or aluminette shade clothing on the outside of the greenhouse, so it cuts the amount of daylight down significantly. So I think the orchids are getting about 70% shade probably, sometimes maybe a little bit less. And they seem to grow really, really well. They certainly don't mind it. They're not that dark green colour that some people have of their orchids. Mine are sort of a lighter, grassier green. But I don't see any negative effects. There's no burning, there's no spots. So as far as I'm concerned, my orchids are happy growing in this environment. So there's a little bit about the care of this orchid, well certainly how I grow it, and seem to with some success. Hopefully we're going to see, because I know these things can flower multiple times, so you might get like 6 flower spikes, which would just look ridiculous. It would look really, really cool. So hopefully next year we'll get even more flowers on it. So thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's only a short one today. If you like this video, don't forget to thumbs up, like down below. And if you want to see more of my content and certainly want some notifications of when I do upload, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.